I can work. It's my right," she said so promptly, walking towards the kitchen, seemingly irritated by my request. This day's narrations will never erase from my mind. It has been 3 weeks since we last met. My wife Grace and I have been married for 15 years, but this day would start a journey of no reverse. Going back to that day, I came back home from a business trip full of excitement to meet my family. I had missed them dearly and looked forward to having a wonderful night with my wife Grace. Grace responded with a not-so-warm welcome. "How was work?" she asked, not appearing to care whether I responded or not. The moment I stepped into the house, I sensed something was wrong. Her distant tone and lack of interest confirmed it. Even when I gently mentioned how long it had been since we were last intimate, she brushed it off without hesitation. She insisted she wasn't ready for anything like that, and that I should understand. Her voice carried a coldness I hadn't heard from her in years, a version of Grace I barely recognized. She kept repeating how tired she was, but her words felt like a wall being built between us. I tried to convince myself she was simply stressed or dealing with something she didn't want to talk about. Yet that night, as we lay in silence, the tension pressed heavily on my chest. I stared into the darkness, wondering when my wife had changed so drastically, and why it felt like something deeper was unfolding beneath the surface. The following morning, Grace woke up earlier than usual and left the house without saying a word to me. This was not normal. My instincts told me something was wrong, terribly wrong. Throughout the day, I tried calling her, but she didn't pick up. Evening came, and when she finally returned home, she looked jumpy and unusually defensive. I asked where she had been the whole day. She snapped back, "Must I report everywhere I go? I am not a child." Her words pierced me. I decided to stay silent. After dinner, I sat in the living room scrolling through my phone when a message popped up from an unknown number. The message warned me to control my wife before things got out of hand. My heart raced. Confused and shaken, I confronted Grace and showed her the message. She brushed it off as a prank, but the uneasiness in her eyes told me otherwise. That night, I barely slept. The next morning, I left for work early. While driving, I received another text. "She was with me yesterday. Keep pushing and you'll know more." I stopped the car, trembling. Someone was threatening me and claiming to be with my wife. Determined to uncover the truth, I hired a private investigator. Within days, the investigator confirmed my worst fears. Grace had been meeting another man. My world shattered in seconds. I felt betrayed, broken, and humiliated. How could the woman I loved, the mother of my children, betray me so deeply? When I confronted her again, Grace admitted everything. She said she had fallen out of love long ago, but stayed in the marriage for the children. Her confession felt like a knife turned inside my chest. I asked her why she didn't tell me earlier. She simply said, "You wouldn't understand." Days passed in silence. Our home became a battlefield of unspoken words. I tried to hold myself together for the children, but inside, I was collapsing. One evening, as I sat alone, Grace walked in and dropped divorce papers on the table. "It's for the best," she murmured. I stared at the papers, unable to process the betrayal. Everything we had built for 15 years was being erased like it meant nothing. My heart grew heavy, but I knew I had to make a decision. I signed the divorce papers reluctantly, not because I wanted to, far from it, but because Grace had already left emotionally. Keeping her would only deepen my pain. After the divorce, she moved out and took the children with her. My days grew longer and darker. I became a shadow of myself. Everywhere I looked reminded me of her. I tried focusing on work, but my mind always drifted back to the life I had lost. One day, weeks later, I received another message from the same unknown number. This time it said, "She left you because she feared you would discover the truth." What did that mean? I felt a surge of anger and confusion. Determined to find out more, I called the investigator again. He agreed to look deeper into the case. After several days, the investigator returned with shocking news. The man Grace was seeing was not just anyone. He was part of an underground group involved in extortion. Grace had been manipulated, blackmailed, and threatened. She didn't leave me because she stopped loving me. She left because these men threatened to harm our children if she didn't cooperate. My world stopped. Everything I believed, the betrayal, the coldness, the divorce, had been forced upon her. Grace had been suffering alone, hiding everything to protect us. My heart ached with guilt for misjudging her, and pain for what she had endured in silence. I knew I had to act fast. I contacted the authorities and shared everything. A plan was made to rescue Grace from these criminals. With the help of the investigator and police, we tracked the group. The rescue operation was dangerous but successful. Grace was shaken, but alive. When she saw me, she broke down in my arms. "I'm sorry, I had no choice," she sobbed. I held her tightly, realizing how deeply love can be tested but still survive. We spent months healing, rebuilding trust, and restoring our family. Grace apologized repeatedly, and I forgave her, not because it was easy, but because love demanded it. In the end, our marriage became stronger than ever. We reclaimed our happiness, our unity, and our conjugal rights, not just physically, but emotionally and spiritually. The storm had passed. Love had won,